So, Guru, the last time I checked, there are approximately 500,382 cybersecurity point products. How do you go about making sense out of these products, and what kind of architecture should you be putting in place to integrate your cybersecurity products?
I think what enterprise need to consider is developing a perfect strategy, and it's called defense in depth strategy. And how do we do that? Taking back to the fundamentals of in the textbook that we all have studied, OSI stack, right? Uh, our infrastructure, our applications is today organized by how the OSI stack is laid out, right? And it's still evergreen. And it's important that we take that evergreen OSI stack and layer our security alongside so that we can decide where to protect what infrastructure and so that appropriate technologies can be selected and certain things can be tool chained, right? By picking up the OSI stack and developing a defense in depth strategy and layering the security alongside the certain layers of the stack, one can come up with the perfect defense in depth strategy so that the larger crowd can be managed with a small set of uh, vendors who fits your enterprise, who fits your ecosystem, who fits your problem use cases, so that one can build a perfect security ecosystem around the company.
You talk about this as being the mesh architecture. Can you expand on that?
So one has to basically create this mesh architecture, which means bringing all the cybersecurity tools in a meshed ecosystem. Because today all these tools and technologies have evolved very much in an API. They all can communicate in an API ecosystem. So taking the power of APIs and overlaying them to an orchestrator, so the orchestrator can basically determine what information that each of this tool needs to get in the event of managing a threat so that it empowers the frontline cyber defense to take the perfect action in the event of a threat.
So, the concept of the mesh is that each point product connects to multiple other point products, not necessarily all of them, but the right subset of them. So, it's not just a single point product or even just a one to one, but it's, one many to many, and that's the mesh.
Let's talk about a use case, right? In a large
Hmm.
enterprise, in the event of a threat, and when you have to mitigate it, you need to empower your frontline cyber defense, right? When they get a payload, how to block this payload? They cannot wait to to orchestrate this payload for network, orchestrate this payload for server, storage, cloud, and whatnot. They should be having the power in their hand to say, hey, here is the IP address that I would like to block. Here is a domain name that I would like to prevent to be accessed. They should be able to pass this through a workflow, and that payload should be seamlessly passed to all the cybersecurity tools and technologies so that it can be processed in a matter of minutes.
So, each tool is communicating or sending along the information that is relevant to each domain or each area so that you don't, and those are chained and those are automated and orchestrated automatically so that you don't have to manually go in and interpret all this information and then send the right information to each domain.
Exactly. You avoid the wait times, you reduce the SLA. In the event of a threat, you can basically prevent that threat in a matter of minutes and seconds, not in days, waiting for tickets and SLAs to kick in.
So, a question for you. Would you advise your fellow cybersecurity practitioners when they're selecting products to think in terms of how well any product will integrate with their mesh architecture?
It is extremely important to consider a tool that is rich in API. It is extremely important to make sure that the tool fits very well within your ecosystem and then also work alongside with the rest of the cybersecurity tools because we are living in a world where the threat is wide open, and it is extremely important to make sure that technologies and the tools that you pick in the cyber world can sit alongside and can communicate on an API, can work together and provide a larger defense in depth for an enterprise.
It's an ecosystem world for cybersecurity.
Yes.